Very good evening to all of you. Jai Sri Sachidanand to everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this talk show, Universal Revival Journey. On behalf of Manu Than Seva Samiti, on behalf of all the Santamatmas and the devotees, we especially welcome all our new aspirants, those who have joined from far away from different nations. And I feel it is one of the most beautiful opportunity as we have received today. It is written in one of the book, when God is kind, all are favorable. Everybody wants to survive happily. Everybody needs peace. But in this world of survival, revival is very, very important. And that is spiritual revival. Everyone is searching peace. Everyone is in the search of humanity. But some things are going wrong and some things are going wrong. So in this beautiful journey of life, if you see a life very deeply, it itself is a journey. Some journeys are very tough. Some journeys are very happy. But at the same time, we need to understand that what is that spiritual journey, which we have to go within. So I mentioned that in this world of survival, spiritual revival is very, very important. Awakening. And for this awakening, we don't have to search outside. We have to go within. Because we all believe in the philosophy of Socrates, man know thyself. So my dear friends, on behalf of Manav Than Seva Samiti, as we all have joined from different nations, from different countries, from the bottom of my heart, I welcome you to this platform. Manav Than Seva Samiti is a socio-spiritual organization. The main motto of this organization is to uplift humanity and to spread love, kindness and goodwill and dissemination of spiritual knowledge. In this physical world, we have gained everything, but something is missing from our life. I feel that is the milestone of the life. And when we really introspect in our life, in this beautiful human creation, which has been declared as a crown of creation, we find something which is mysterious. And it's just a matter of going inside rather than going outside. So again, I welcome you all in this beautiful platform. I know we have different castes, different religions. Some are very far away from different nations. But today is very, very fortunate that we are under one platform, Manav Than Seva Samiti platform. And this is the platform of humanity, love, kindness and goodwill. So this couple of hours, let's enjoy. Let's feel that vibration. Then only you will understand why we have organized this talk show. And I give a guarantee that if any Jigyasu, any guest, those who have joined today, if you listen very properly to the speakers and to our Santamatmas, it would be a turning point in your life. So that's why I request you to listen from your heart, not from this ear. If you listen from your heart, you will know something, you will experience something today. As we have some eminent speakers from around the world. So without wasting much time, I would like to welcome our first speaker. Apart from being a software consultant, she is a wandering soul, a seeker putting constant efforts in self-realization. She loves to interact with common interest people in her journey. And she happens to be an inspiration of many youths. As she has experienced in a spiritual life, she has experienced a lot. She has conducted many seminars, many talk shows, and today I'm very, very fortunate to have, as she is one of my best friend, Toshi from Delhi. So now I would like to hand over this platform to my friend Toshi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for the beautiful introduction. I hope you all can hear me. Yeah, good. So thank you everyone. Thanks for joining this session, and a big thanks to the team who have put in so much of time and energy in organizing this whole session. A big thanks to them. Honestly, when I received an invitation for this program, so I've been asked to share my life experience, and I just saw on the invitation it was written that it's a spiritual talk program. No, so spirituality, spirituality. It sounds little heavy to me. So I would say I welcome you all for the live talk program, and you will be listening many experiences throughout the session. And as Uttam mentioned, that surely I'm not sure how many answers you will get today from your from all of your questions, but I'm very sure that you will have some more questions by the end of this session. No? So experience, isn't that one thing which is common in all of us? All of us are experiencing this life, right? And okay, yeah. So all of us are just experiencing this life, whether it be good experience, bad experience, maybe sad experience, happy experiences. But then we all are into experience. We all are into the journey of experience of this beautiful life, right? Then what is the difference? If we all are into the same journey, what makes difference? The little thing that makes difference is being conscious about your experience. Yes, some of us are really conscious about what is happening in my life, and more importantly, why it is happening in my life. Because philosopher says that whenever any struggle comes to your life, it definitely comes for a reason, and it definitely comes to give you some lessons of life. And definitely the people who are conscious about their life, who are conscious about their journey, they learn out of their struggle. But there is still a group of people in society who are really not conscious about their journey. And it reminded me a very beautiful question from a devotee to his master. So one fine day, a devotee went to his master and he asked that, "Oh master, when should I start my spiritual journey?" No, like I think this is a very common question to all the youngsters these days. Spirituality being also a new fashion these days, because if you go on Instagram, on Facebook, you will find too many things on spirituality, and everyone turning into spirituality every next day. Even I have observed that with many of my friends and known people. So this beautiful question raised by a devotee that, "Oh master, when should I start my spiritual journey? And what is the right time to start it?" And very beautiful answer given by a master was, "Oh dear, you don't have to start your spiritual journey. You do not need to start your spiritual journey because it is already been started." And the devotee was surprised, and he asked that, "How can you say that my journey is already been started?" "Yes," master said, "the journey is already been started from the very moment you took your first breath." And isn't that one thing common in all of us? That we started experiencing this life from the very moment we took our first breath, right? But it is just about shifting that focus, shifting that attention, and be little conscious about our own life. And that is, that is the irony also, that we are so much conscious about everything in the world. We are so much conscious about everything in the society. We are so much conscious about whatever happening in the news channels and social media. But the only one thing we want to run away always is from our own self. And I think there comes a trigger point in life, right? Because this is what it happened with me for like 5 to 6 years back, when I had all the best things in my life, all the best thing, good friends, good family, good relationship, every best thing in my life. But then there were some higher question. There were question that where do I come from, right? Is there any higher energy that is controlling me, who gives this breath to me? Because this is something I cannot control in my life, right? We can control everything, but breath is something, when it goes away, no power in the world can give you this breath back. Does that mean there is some energy ruling my life? Does that mean there is some higher self? Does that mean that there is something which I still don't know, or which need to know, or could be a purpose of my life? All this question. So with all this question, when I started my journey, say like 5 to 6 years back, and then I started finding the answers of all these questions. And in the no in finding of all the answers of this question, the biggest thing I did, or the process itself made me to do, is spending most of the time with my own self, spending most of the time with my thoughts, spending most of the time with what is inside me, you know. And because I was into too much of reading, and I love reading, and I love sharing experiences with people, and I love discussing their life. So whenever I used to have such kind of discussion, I used to have this kind of discussion. So people always used to say like that, and it's been written also, that a human is a inside it is a pure form of light, right? We are a being, we are a spiritual being, right? But when you go in search of your own self, very immediately you don't see light. Because when you will go in search of your own self, the first you will see what you have layered yourself with. And we have layered ourselves with so many habits, you know, of being fear, being scared in life, being jealous in life, being, try to pretend in life, and so many things. So when you try to spend most of the time with yourself, which a process of meditation is, right? So there you find that, okay, this all things are there inside me. And when you find that these all things are there, these all qualities are there, then you started checking that, is that right or wrong, is that good for me or bad for me, right? And then you go into the process where you see that, okay, if it is bad for me, I have to work on those habits, right? So it is always a process thing. It never comes as an enlightenment to human being, right? So I was talking about my journey. And honestly, when I realize that the purpose of life is something higher, the purpose of life is all those questions that used to came to my mind, that there is something higher, that feeling of being emptiness, that void, and that feeling of not being satisfied. And the beauty was that if I'm not satisfied, I'll go to the party. If I'm not satisfied, I'll go to shopping, I'll go and meet my friends, cinema, so much of entertainment, and this is how we always get distracted from our very primary question in life. So dear friends, this there are many questions, and I would say this whole pandemic thing, like this whole time, is really being a blessing to all of us. Why blessing? Because these questions were definitely there before pandemic also, but during the pandemic, these questions are more louder, they are more clearer, and to few people these questions are very visible. I love when my friends come to me and they talk about these things, and they want to know that what is this life, no? So yes, this pandemic thing has been one of the blessing to all of us, because this has made our question clearer to ourselves. This has given us time to sit with ourselves, no? Because as I mentioned, that these questions were there before also, but we have so many, I won't say distraction, but then attraction also of the world. Like I said, cinema, shopping, travel, and so many things, that every time this genuine question used to raise, we used to distract or attract ourselves to other things, to materialistic world, right? And then in it's fine when I go to the party, I'm very happy. I go with my friends, I'm very happy. But when I come back, why don't that happiness last with me? That was my question from the life. And then gradually I understood that it is really not the happiness which I'm searching for. It is something else. It is peace which I'm searching for. It is love for myself which I'm searching for. And the love for myself we search to into other people, right? But the person who's not capable to love himself or herself, how would he be capable to love you? So in order for you also to love the whole world, you have to start loving yourself, and this is what life gives you. And this is what you will start realizing, that how beautiful this life is, how beautiful this creation is. Beauty is not what we see outside. Beauty is what we realize inside. But this all happens when the spiritual journey starts. Mhm. So for that thing, I would like to leave you all with one question, because once my master said that, uh, if you're not focused with what you want in life, you will never reach to your destination. And this is, we everybody have this experience in life also, right? So before you all, like too many people have joined this platform today, so before you all start your journey, it is important to ask yourself that why do you want to be spiritual? It is very important question, my dear friends. It is very important question, that why do we want to spiritual? Spirituality is not some new trend or new fashion or no new tagline to tag on social media and just to tell people that I have become spiritual. No. Ask yourself that why do you want to be spiritual? If the answers are that you really want to have all the luxury of life, if you really want to have wealth of life, if you really want to enjoy and have all the entertainment of life, I must say, don't start your journey. Don't give your time onto this, because this is not what you will get here. And if to some of you, if the answers are that yes, I want to see the balance in my life, and this is why I started my journey, because I wanted a balance in my life. I spirituality is not about living the things. It is never about living your luxury or living your entertainment or happiness. No, it is about balancing all the things. It is really about a balanced life. And if you really want to go in the search of those questions which are always there inside you, if you really want to search for some higher self, if you really want to search for that who has given this breath to me, which is really not in our control or not in doctor's control, if you really have this genuine questions in life, then yes, my dear friends, you are on the very right platform today. And I'm so happy to share my experiences, and so happy that we all have come together on this platform today, because as Uttam also mentioned in the introduction, that yes, we love discussing life, we love discussing experience, right? Because the people who experience, that it is just not about being physical, but there is something beyond than this, it is about being spiritual. So there is more beauty to life, there is more love to life, and once it will be love to your life, it will be love to uh, it will be love in the society, it will be love in the nation, right? So with this thought, I would like to end my words, and thank you everyone for joining this session. And it will be proceeded, program will be proceeded with next week. Thank you, Uttam.
Thank you very much, Toshi. As my dear friends, she gave an example of entire life is like an encyclopedia. Actually, we have lost within ourselves, but we are trying to find out outside. And most of the sages and the spiritual masters have initiated and they have directed the human beings that you go within. So if you search within yourself, you will find that empirical innocence within yourself. Because I still remember one small incident happened with Lord Buddha. One man came to Lord Buddha and said, I need peace. And Lord Buddha said, remove that I. And after some time, Lord Buddha said, remove that need. The moment that person removed that I and need, happiness was left out. So exactly today, because of that I and desire, things has been blocked. So if you really want to remove this I and desire, happiness is there. That's why she gave a very beautiful example of be the friend of yourself. Actually, we are searching outside. Millions and millions of relationships we have gained, we have established, but still our thirst is not quenched. So you love yourself, you believe in yourself, and you search yourself. What a beautiful example she gave. And even Lord Buddha went to the palace and he called everyone in the palace and he said not to sacrifice anything, not to sacrifice your parents, not to sacrifice your society, but you have to sacrifice ignorance. It's a beautiful example, Toshi. Thank you so much for your wonderful experience. As I already told you in the beginning, as she has been as one of my inspiration in my life. Thank you so much for your wonderful experience. Now, moving on to next, we have a devotional song. Music is a universal language. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say religion. It doesn't see any boundaries. It is beyond everything. So now, from the beautiful Queen of Hills, Darjeeling, I would like to request Mr. Preetham Gurung and his team from Manav Dharma to perform a song, Krishna Ne Begani from Colonial Cousins. My dear friends, it is a universal song. Please enjoy the song. Thank you.
Forgive us for what we've done. Come back to Santa. Come back to So come down and help us, save all the little ones. We need a teacher, and you are the only one. better world, a world that's for children, a world that's for everyone. Time is a healer, time moves on. Time don't wait for anyone. You will be back, but that will take some time. I'm waiting, I'm waiting. So come back and see us. Come back and save the world. Yes, all the future of every boy and girl. Come back as woman. Forgive us for what we've done. Come back as Allah. Come back as anyone. Hare
Thank you, Mr. Pritam Groom and team from the Queen of Hills, Darjeeling. The song said, it's a request to the God that please give us the positivity, give us that vibration, and please eradicate the negativity from this world. It's a beautiful song from Colonial Cousins. Thank you very much for this presentation, Mr. Pritam Gurung and team. Now we move on to our next speaker, based in Holland, Western Europe. He has been organizing charity goodwill summits in Europe since 2011 and helped spreading spiritual message from Hindi to English. He talks and inspires individuals and also groups to align the code of spirituality and its relevance to young generation. Mr. Gopal Gupta, from the land of windmills, from the land of canals, from the land of castles. So I welcome Mr. Gopal Gupta sir to take the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uttamji. Good evening, everyone. Maybe it's not good evening in many places, so hello, everyone. Great day. But the topic is very dear to me. We have to, don't we say that we have to create our reason is soul never dies. It always remains there. We have to only revive it. It was there, it is there, it will be there. And until we have this cover on our soul, the human body, which is very important, it's important that we can also revive is not only just basically awaken it, also take it to the next level, because you can see a bit more conscious, and some are even super conscious, so if you can say a sage or a saint, or whom we call the prophets, they are super conscious of this. My journey, I want to share very brief. I was very used to go to satsangs, used to go to spiritual gatherings, with my to focus. If you focus, if you get more concentration, you can do things better. So I thought score good grades. So I heard very carefully in satsang that if you have focus of mind, if you have better concentration, then you can do everything in a very nice and perfect way. So in order to score good grades in my university, in my college, I thought let's take this knowledge, take this spiritual path, this journey, the meditative journey, where I can have better concentrated mind and I can get better score in my college and the university. So you can see the mean was actually a little bit more material, but the journey started. So awakening and the revival of the soul happened. And then I realized it's not only the purpose is not to only achieve the best of your life, not to achieve the best of the grades, not to achieve the best of your performance or productivity through the concentration, through the focus, through the meditation, but also there is a higher goal. Higher goal is to revive your soul, revive your spiritual journey, go to the next level, and probably get out of the cycle of death and birth, so that eventually become perfect soul. Now some of us also think that why this soul is so important, why we have to just not live as normal human being and be ourselves. Now I would like to give a small example. Let's say you have one of the best car that you have always wanted, and you have that car in your possession now. Let's say I want a Porsche car, which is very expensive. So it's I'm not able to buy that. But let's say someday I buy it, and after that, the question would be, what do I love most? Would I still love the car the most, or I love my body the most? So I can give you an analogy. If there is an accident going to happen, I would pray to the God. Even if the car gets damaged, I should not be hurt. That means I still love my body more than the car, because car is just a vehicle and I am the driver, I am the owner of the car. So I should be, if I am available, if I am alive, if I'm not dead, I'll buy many more cars. But if I do not if I die, then the car will be there, but what is the point? I'm not going to be the who can enjoy, who can experience the value of cars. So I'm going to be losing the experience. Similarly, then let's go to the next level. Now compare our body as a vehicle. Let's remove the car from the picture. Let's bring our body as a vehicle and the soul as a driver. Now, what we pray now to the God: Oh God, even if my body is hurt in an accident, please do not let my soul go out of it. Because if the soul is there, I can still be able to do a lot of things. Maybe my hand is broken, maybe my leg is broken, but I'm still alive. My soul is safe. So then so now you can see how the perspective is shifting. The value is shifting. Value from the car to the body, and from body to the soul. Because if soul is not there, I can't be a body, a living body. If the body is not living, I cannot enjoy the car. So everything in the end comes to the soul. That's what we are talking about the upliftment of the soul. We're talking about the taking the soul to the higher consciousness, so that we know it's not only the car which is important, it's not only the body which is important, it's the soul which is driving everything. It is the most important thing. The moment this is gone out of our body, we lose everything, whatever we have in our possessions. Everything becomes immediately zero. You might have a very beautiful world around you, but the moment this soul is left the body, then there's nothing left. So we have to make sure this journey of the soul goes to its goal. Now, the question might be coming to our mind: what is the goal of the soul? Why we are even born? Are we born to become one of the best scientists of the world? Are you born to become one of the best businessmen of the world? Are you born to become one of the world's best, let's say, yeah, speaker of the world? Probably not, because that has been achieved by so many people before me. So why I have come to do the same thing what others have done. Let's say I become as rich as the Ambanis or the Bill Gates. But what's the point? Because when they leave, they will also be leaving without any money. So the point is that what is the purpose of, what is the value that I attain by living 80 years or 100 years, or for that matter 50 years, if I do not achieve what's not achieved by others or achieved by only few? So if I can achieve the goal, which is, otherwise I should have not be coming into the cycle of death and birth again and again, right? So we want to exit the cycle of death and birth, want to be perfect soul, so it doesn't have to come back. I give you another small example to make it more easy for those who probably are starting this journey now. Let's say you go to a friend's place where you have been going before also. So you went again for a small gathering, and you say, okay, it was a nice day and we had very good evening together, and then it was perfect. We chatted for a long time after so many weeks, so many months we met. And then you leave and say bye, and you leave the home. But immediately you remember, as soon as you just got in your car, and you were just gone in a public metro, you remember your phone is not with you. So what do you do? The next thing, you immediately try to go back to your friend's place and say, hey, my phone is left, so I come back, right? So if there's nothing left behind, probably you would have not come back. You would have gone on back to your home where you came from. But why? Similarly, now if you take example to the our human being as a body, we keep coming back to this world because something is left unachieved, something is forgotten. That's why you come back to this world again, as born again as a sometime as an animal, sometime as a human being, sometime as a plant, something as other viruses, bacteria. All are we have 8.4 million species, so we keep getting in the cycle of death and birth because something has been unachieved, something has been forgotten. If that was not the case, we would have not come back to this world again and again. So the idea is not to forget anything. Idea is not to leave something unfinished. The unfinished business is bringing us back to this world again and again, and that's where the problem is. That's where. So we need to know what is the unfinished business, because if I achieve everything, how do I know I'm going to be liberated? How do I know I'm going to be finally resurrected? Right? I think most of you. I'm assuming you might be knowing these words because these words are little bit spiritual words. But the idea is to free our soul from the cycle of death and birth, and we get completely at peace, merge with our source. And there's another example of the source is when we throw a stone into the sky, it comes back to the source, which is earth. So everything is going towards this source. So we as soul also are traveling to go towards our source. Our source is the almighty source of this whole universe. We are part of the almighty, and we are going towards him. But what happens, this is journey, so we have to, either we can go fast or we can go slow. We can be stagnant for a moment of time and we can be going fast. I mean, it depends on how we focus on it. That's what my sister, my friend Toshi also mentioned, that it depends on how do you want to board on this journey. Are you boarding for the sake of telling other people that I'm also doing something something very special, which is a new word, new buzzword in this spiritual meditation. Everybody, I keep hearing this word meditation, and spiritual every here and there, right? But then everybody is spiritual that way, because if something has electricity, we call it electrical. We have spirit, that's why we are spiritual. That doesn't make you automatically a super conscious soul. That has to be still achieved. So we all are basically spiritual being. There is one very good philosopher who said that we are not human who are having the spiritual experience. We are basically spirits who are having the human experience. So this human experience is only for 100 year, 80 year, 50 year, 20 year. But journey of soul is infinite. It started from the God. It will end into the God. We came as a big bang out of it. We'll go back to it again. How better, how perfect, how nicely we go, how quick we go depends on our efforts. And that effort has to be started. And that's basically called the revival of your soul. If that effort has not started for whatever reason, we have this opportunity of asking those your friends who are already initiated, as we call in our spiritual language. They already are given this knowledge, how to focus on your soul, how to see the light within you, how to listen to the universal music within you, how to see the God within you. You don't have to go to any temple, any mosque, anywhere. You can see everything within you. And that's what our prophets were also telling. We actually created their temples, their physical structures, but they were not asking for that. They were asking you to go within you. So our body is the temple of the God. That is the temple God made himself. So that's the best temple. That's the best place of the worship. I'm not sure if I'm running out of the time, but I think if that is the case, I would like to say thank you very much for letting me speak my mind. I hope you all were able to take some points for yourself, and you'll go on from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gopal Gupta ji. As he mentioned that he stressed on revival. So as the program name is also Universal Revival Journey. So yes, we have to revive ourselves. So I request everyone that you must have listened to him, as he spoke about the religion also, and he spoke about the revival of the religion, spiritual core of the religion. So even Swami Vivekananda was asked in America, as you are an Indian monk, Swami, how do you define religion? One journalist asked him. Vivekananda would have given a long lectures, but in one line he said, for you people, I don't know what is religion, but for us, but as for Swami Vivekananda, realization of God is religion. So every person has that potential. Every one of us, we can see that God, that light of God face to face. But we need to have that vision. And to have that vision, inner engineering is very, very important because we are lost in the forest of temptations. So, my dear friends, you must have listened to him very properly, and there should be some changes in your life after listening to all the speakers. So, without wasting much time, now I'd like to move on to one beautiful song. And the singer, I'd like to introduce her. Actually, she doesn't need any introduction also. But somehow I'm going to give an introduction. She is one and only. Shekinah Mukhia is an Indian singer from the city of mystical beauty, Dehradun. She was one of the top 10 finalist contestants on the Indian television show of Bollywood singers, The Voice of India Kids 1. She was the part of Bollywood singer Himesh Reshammiya's team, and she has done her schooling from St. Thomas School, Dehradun. She is the daughter of Dira and Vikash Mukhia. Her mother is a teacher at private school in Dehradun. She started singing at an early age when she saw her father performing on the stage. He was a self-taught singer and passionate about music. Now this talent has passed on to Shekinah. She also likes to read short stories. She loves her family and enjoys spending time with a young brother. So my dear friends, let's welcome our small little Shekinah Mukhia for this beautiful song. Thank you.
Here.
Good evening, everyone. How are you all? This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very words spoken to me. And I'm desperate for you. And I'm lost without you. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Thank you.
Thank you, Shikaina, for your wonderful song. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Hear every word spoken to me. Some beautiful words. Definitely, this entire creation is there. We believe the creation, but we need to believe the creator also. Because I still remember one philosopher said, live in this world not by being of the world, live in this world by being of the God. If you really want to live in this creation, you don't be of this creation, you be of the creator. That's why there is one creator, there is one God. That's why we need to know that oneness. So thank you very much for this wonderful song, and a very, very happy 74th Independence Day to you all. Thank you. So now we move on to our next program, the key speaker of the session, Mahatma Suvidya Baiji, is an enlightened saint from Haridwar, India. She is a disciple of spiritual master Sri Satpalji Maharaj, spiritual head of Manav Dharma organization. She has successfully provided spiritual enlightenment for the past 2 decades in various parts of India, Kenya, South Africa, America, and Australia. Her mission is to uplift the soul of man by rendering spiritual discourse on the essence of all scriptures and teaching meditation and yoga to the aspirants. Without wasting much time, I would like to welcome our respected Suvidya Baiji from South Africa, the land of contrast, the land of hope, from the Rainbow Nation, Mahatma Suvidya Baiji. Thank you very much.
बोलिए श्री सतगुरुदेव महाराज की जय. Glory to the Master. My humble greetings to one and all. I am privileged and grateful to be part of this virtual congregation program to share my experiences and understanding on a soulful search for a meaningful life. If we look at that search, then John Ron, he says about search and say that search and learning is where the miracle process all begins. And a search, a soulful search for a meaningful life is a integral part of our life. And in this search, we keep on doing different kinds of experiences. We do the trial and error in it. And this is how we want to achieve in our life. And sometimes it seems like that simple maths solutions. When we want to have a math solution, then first put suppose x, then all the maths formula we started to put in it, and at the end we get it is a x is equal to so and so. So in our life also, we are looking for the meaningful life, and for this meaningful life there is a definition normally people have, and is about like should have a good health, should have a happy home, should have a tasty food, good career, need to have a peaceful mind. There is a very long list we can say that for the meaningful life we have a expectation about. But if we look in this expectation, we will find one thing. And he said that there is a good home, tasty food, sound sleep. So it is like a one equation, and the equation says that a good plus home, tasty plus food. So if we look in this equation, or we want to we look into it, then what we found it, that there is a list of home, there is a list, in the list there is a home, there is a car, there is a career, there is a job, there is a food, and so on. And these are the things we can get in a physical world. But another portion of our equation, we call it happy, or happy, or peaceful, or you can say good one. These experiences are non-physical. We cannot get from the physical world. So here it says this experiences of happiness or peacefulness or a good one are, you can explain as a emotions or the experiences one, feelings one. And he said this experiences what we have, as per the science we understood that these are the experience we having in our life because of the hormones and different kinds of hormones from the different kinds of our endocrine glands. We get it from it, and this is how we are experiencing differently. And if we have a look into a few of hormones, then we can say the melatonin is for the sound sleep, then we can say this serotonin for the mood, dopamine is a full feel good hormones, then is a list of it. So what we understood, that this non-physical experiences we have, that is a part of our endocrine gland, and this endocrine gland are giving us a meaning to whatever the physical thing we are experiencing. Now, very important role these endocrine glands are playing in our body. And first, say for one example we can take is as of a pineal gland. Very important gland, we say. Very important gland, and in a size of a grain of rice. This is a master gland which is situated in our brain. And he said this pineal gland is a seat of spirituality, is a seat of clairvoyance. Clairvoyance means the power to see the event, or to see the beings one, objects one, when where our senses can't perceive. This pineal gland, about it says that is corresponding with our divine experiences. This our pineal gland not only secreting this melatonin, which brings the sleep and wake cycle in us, but there are lots of things is explained. And in this one, see, is a master gland, is or arranging with the all the our rest of the all endocrine glands one. And he said this endocrine, this our pineal gland is one where our soul can connect with our cosmic soul. So there are so many character of this pineal gland we can understand about it. But with this research, they found one thing, that when we are small in our childhood, this pineal gland work fully. And this is how we all know the child sleep like a, and whole life we wish only one thing, that wish I could sleep like a child. And it says that our pineal gland works very well in our childhood, but as the age grow, what happened, influence of the world, or you can say a modern lifestyle, and all these things are giving this impact on our pineal gland. And scientists says that in pineal gland it started to build is a brain cell, and because of that it started to get hardened, and it became the potentiality of pineal gland get very less. So this is what happens in our life. But the research also says one thing, that if we want to activate our this pineal gland fully, then it has to connect with the light of soul. The light of a soul. So he said the soul is very important in our life. Normally, though, before also from the Gopal Bhai we heard about the soul and everything, but whenever the soul word come out, then people normally think might be is a another word for the ghost. Otherwise, something alien thing is there or something mystic thing is there. But I would like to explain very simply about the soul. So we are very familiar with one thing is an atom. So in atom, we know the structure of atom. There is an electron, proton, and neutron, and in the center there is a nucleus. And we all know that all this electron, proton, neutron is in the orbit. They are rotating, taking the energy from the nucleus. So in atom, nucleus is believed as a energy center point. So, dear devotees, this nucleus is our Atma in our soul in our body. So this is our center point. You can say as a energy center, you can say powerhouse, you can give the name life force. This Atma, this soul is within us. And he said this soul has a very mystic powers are there. This soul has abundance power. This soul has, you can say, infinite powers. And he said that this soul is a part and parcel of our body. But the thing happened that when we were growing, at the time our parents taught us that this is your hand, and we all have this experience that for the small child, parents will ask, show me your hand, and the child will raise the hand. Show me your nosy, then they will show the nose, tongue, everything. But the thing is that we never taught with this. There is one of the very important part in our body is our soul, our this energy. And he said this energy is playing very important role. But because of the ignorance of it, what happened with us? That we are not using it in a full potential. So here he said that, and if we want to understand the potentiality of our soul is in our scriptures, even in our on the basis of the experiences of our sages one, they say this soul has a power equivalent to 1,000 sun. One sun is enough to brighten up and warm up the whole universe or the whole world. We have this much power. Now what happened? This soul is within us, so it is not an alien thing. It's a part and parcel of our existence. Now this, with the time, what happened? That we are getting disconnected. So what is the disconnection? So sometimes it's come that soul is existing, is full with the energy, is giving the energy to every atom, every part, every cell of our body. Then how it is get disconnected? So it's very simple understanding we can have it and say that just like we are cooking on the firewood, and pot is on the top of the fire and cooking it. But if the wind will start, then what happened? The fire is there, pot is there, but it will take long to get it home. So what this fire, wind is taking the, you can say, intensity of fire away. In the same way, our sages says that this powerhouse within ourselves, but what happened? That why we are not getting the full potential, or why we are not getting connected with it. So reason is, one of the reason is our restless mind. Our restless mind is putting this our energy, you can say, is a dissipating, otherwise you can say is a scattering all wrong places one, and because of that it says we are not connecting. So here, as we understood about this pineal gland, that if pineal gland will connected with the light of our soul, it will be fully activated in a full potentiality. In the same way, it says it's not only our pineal gland, but it says there are so many of advantages when we connect with our soul one. And this soul is always being a mystery for the people, but it said this soul is in a form, is having the 4 different kinds of forms. One is just like we listen about that light, a soul has a form of light. Soul also has a form of sound. Soul also has a form of vibration. Soul also has a form of, you can say, a liquid thing. So it says these 4 forms of souls one. When we are getting channelized with our body, not only the endocrine gland, with our body, then we will have a very amazing benefit out of it. So here he says that very important in our life to be connected with the soul. Now, how to connect with the life? Because when the word comes the soul, or word comes spirituality, so we have so-called frames for it. We have to go to Himalaya, we have to look for one temple, we have to recite long mantras one, or we have to stand on one leg, but there is nothing such kind of thing. And it says that to connect with the mind, to connect our mind with the soul, is a simplest requirement is there. Very simple level you would have think in a dream. And the simplest remedy for it is quiet mind. As you will quiet your mind, automatically the power of this energy of your soul one will start to channelize or start to go every part of your body. Now it says that how to quiet our mind. We all are suffering with our restless mind. For restless mind, we use word is a monkey mind. So how to control or how to quiet our mind? There is everything is very simple, very easy, and it says to quiet our mind, simply have a long deep breath. As you will have a long deep breath, your mind will quiet. And when your mind will quiet, then what? You will connect where? So in the middle of these 2 eyebrows, there is a power plug. That power plug, when our mind gets connected with it, then our mind is totally still or quiet. And when it happens, then what happens? All this energy will flow in the channel or will flow in the rhythm and harmonized way. So dear devotees, this is a very amazing understanding about ourselves. And for meaningful life means good job, good happy home, tasty food, all this one. But he said this secretion of these hormones in our life is also needed to be in a balanced one. And he says when it will be, that when all this our part of body, endocrine gland, and with that one so many other things will be in a full potential, will work, activate, then we can get in our life. So here it says that to quiet our mind, have a long deep breath and connect your mind in the middle of these 2 eyebrows. It sounds very simple, but what happened? That now if we are ask someone that 1 plus 1, very quickly we will say 2. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. But think about when you started to learn. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 was very easy, but still we went to learn to a teacher. So in the same way, it said this soul is a powerhouse. Soul has so much of a potentiality, but we need to harness it. So here our sages say that we need to learn science of our soul, which is called spirituality, to make our life meaningful, to make our life successful, to make our life worthwhile. So he said to understand the science of our soul, to understand the technique by which we will be constantly connected with our soul, that all this one thing, we go to a person, a scientist of a soul or a mechanic of a soul, is called spiritual master. So when we go to a spiritual master, he teach us how to use this mechanism of our soul, how to use this science of our life one. And it says that when we have this one in our life, then what happens? Our life will become wholesome. Right now we have so many things, but this portion is missing. This metaphysical thing or the paraphysical thing is missing in our life, in our action, in our behavior. That will come. Then we will experience this soul. When we acknowledge, experience, realize, and connect with the soul, then and then only this life will become a blissful life. Normally, though, we listen from the scriptures or everything that human life is a extremely fortunate one can get. Crown of creation. And to make it a crown of creation, we have to add spirituality in our life. This spirituality will bring the wholesome in our life. So thank you so much for allowing me to share what I understood and what I experienced about this meaningful life, search of meaningful life, and hope you will get something benefit out of it. Thank you so much. Boliye Shri Sadgurudev Maharaj ki Jai. My glory to Master.
Thank you very much, Mahatma Sividevaji from the Rainbow Nation, South Africa. It is a privilege to have you here in this wonderful session, and really it's a blessing to have you here. Dear friends, Baiji have illustrated very clearly to all of you that subject of universal life, soul. So every person is declared as a crown of creation. So if we are the crown of creation, then what is the main soul responsibilities of every human individual is to seek that truth and to find and to go within. So very much thankful to Mahatma Sividevaji. So dear friends, many of us, the viewers, they have lots of questions. So I know in this very short time, we can't entertain your question. So that's why there's a mail ID in the chat box, as you can see. So there are many addresses given, like www.manavdharam.org as a website. And we have a Manav Dharam Facebook page. We have a Manav Dharam Instagram, Dharam apps as well. And there's an email address given below over there. So any devotees, any aspirants, I know they have some many questions with them, but within a short span of time, we can't entertain your questions. So please feel free to ask any sort of questions, and we will definitely get back to you in a few days later. So now, dear friends, we come to a happy ending of this beautiful moment. Obviously, you all must have enjoyed a lot. It's a small, what to say, like small try. So it's a teamwork actually. So when we are in a team, we achieve more. That's why somebody has defined very clearly what is the meaning of team. Together, everyone achieves more. T stands for together. E stands for everyone. A stands for achieves, and M stands for more. So when we are standing individually, we can see a lot of things changes. But when we are in a team, that we will achieve more. So definitely we have a very a good team, dedicated team. And as I know that I'm doing MC out right here, I'm speaking to you all, but there are some friends, those who are working behind the screen. I really want to salute them all. So, and without your participation, this program would have not been successful. Thank you so much, my dear aspirants, my dear Jigyasus and devotees, and all the Santa Mahatmas from all over the world. I can see lots of Santa Mahatmas, lots of devotees, lots of aspirants, they have joined here. So because your support and cooperation we need definitely in the days to come. And very soon, in the next episode also, we will announce the date and our program date very soon. So thank you very much for being here till now. And I request Mahatma Sividevaji at last to conclude the session with the prayer. Thank you.
So let us join in a prayer to Almighty God. O Supreme God, you are my mother and father. You are my brother and friend. You are my knowledge as well as wealth, and you are everything for me. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from illness. May all see what is auspicious. May no one suffer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you very much. With this beautiful prayer, we come to the happy ending of this talk show. Thank you very much for your support and care.